The day my boss told me my wife's funeral wasn't an excuse, he said it while adjusting his cufflinks. That detail stuck with me. Not the words. Not even the room going quiet afterward. The cufflinks. Silver. Tiny engraved anchors on navy enamel. Expensive enough to make a statement, subtle enough to pretend they weren't trying to. 3 days later, I made sure those cufflinks were the only thing he had left of his career. Merrick Vale loved details like that. Tiny reminders that he thought he belonged above everyone else. I remember staring at those cufflinks while my phone buzzed in my pocket with another message from the funeral home asking if I'd confirmed the flower arrangements. And all I could think was, this guy really believes the company can survive without me. That was new. Because for 6 years, everyone at Virion Logistics knew exactly who kept the machine running. They just preferred not to say it out loud. See, I wasn't the flashy guy. I wasn't the one doing TED Talk impressions in conference rooms or posting leadership quotes on LinkedIn every 45 minutes. I was operations. Which, in logistics, basically means you only hear my name when something's on fire. I built routing systems. Managed customs escalations. Negotiated emergency carrier contracts at 3 a.m. from airport parking lots. Half the European freight lanes the company relied on existed because I personally stitched them together during the shipping crisis 3 years earlier. Merrick got promoted because he wore tailored jackets and said words like synergy with a straight face. I got migraines and a permanent eye twitch. Funny how that works. My wife, Ilara, used to joke that I was professionally invisible. Which is dangerous, she'd say, curled on the couch under that faded green blanket she refused to throw away. People only notice the foundation after the building cracks. Turns out she was right about a lot of things. Ilara died on a Thursday morning at 5:12. Pancreatic cancer. Fast at the end. Cruel the whole way through. The kind of illness that rearranges your entire understanding of time. Suddenly your life becomes measured in scans, insurance calls, pharmacy receipts, and how many good days are left. I still worked through most of it. That's the ugly truth nobody puts in inspirational posts. I worked from chemo chairs. Hospital cafeterias. Parking garages. I took calls beside vending machines while my wife slept upstairs hooked to machines that beeped softly like they were apologizing. And every single time I needed flexibility, Merrick acted like he was doing me a personal favor. Hang in there, buddy. That was his line. Buddy. He called warehouse staff, chief. Called interns, sport. Called me, buddy. Always smiling. Always positioning himself half an inch above everyone else socially. The week before Ilara died, I slept maybe 9 hours total. I still fixed a customs hold in Rotterdam that saved the company nearly $400,000. No thank you. Just an email from Merrick asking why my response time had slipped. Yeah. That didn't sit right. But grief does strange things to your priorities. You stop arguing over disrespect because you're trying to survive bigger pain. Then came the funeral. Monday morning. Cold rain. Gray sky. The kind of weather that makes every parking lot look abandoned. I was standing outside the funeral home when my phone rang. Merrick. I almost ignored it. Almost. You coming in after? He asked. No hello. I thought maybe I'd heard him wrong. After what? A pause. The service. I actually laughed once. Just air through my nose. Disbelief more than humor. Merrick, I said carefully, I'm burying my wife today. Right, and I'm sympathetic, Rowan, I really am, but the Hellbrook account review is this afternoon. You built the presentation. There it was. Not concern. Scheduling conflict. I closed my eyes for a second. Rain tapping my jacket. Cars hissing past the curb. I won't be there. Long silence. Then the sigh. That little executive sigh people do when they want you to feel inconvenient. Your wife's funeral isn't an excuse to disappear on critical business days. I remember every single second after that sentence with uncomfortable clarity. My hand tightening around the phone. The funeral home doors opening behind me. My brother-in-law carrying flower stands inside. And something in me finally going still. Not angry. That's the important part. Anger burns hot. This felt cold. Precise. I said, very calmly, okay. Merrick kept talking. Huge mistake. You need to be professional here. Everybody has personal issues. Leadership means. I hung up. Then I turned my phone off. And for the first time in 6 years, Virion Logistics lost access to me completely. Now, here's the part Merrick didn't know. 3 years earlier, during the shipping collapse, the company panicked and rushed development. On a proprietary route optimization platform called Asterion. Fancy name. Mediocre software. The actual functionality, the predictive rerouting layer that made the system valuable, was mine. I designed it independently as a contractor before Virion acquired usage rights. Usage rights. Not ownership. Because legal rushed the deal. And because nobody reads operational contracts until they're bleeding money. The license renewal sat under my authorization. Every 90 days. Manually. I'd mentioned this several times over the years. Nobody listened because operations people become furniture after a while. Useful furniture. Still furniture. Ilara used to tell me to document everything. Quiet people need paperwork, she'd say. So I did. Every clause. Every approval chain. Every warning email. After the funeral, I stayed home for 4 days. Not strategizing. Not plotting revenge. Just existing in that awful silence grief leaves behind. Her coffee mug still near the sink. Her reading glasses beside the couch. Half a crossword puzzle on the table. The world keeps moving in deeply offensive ways after someone dies. Then Friday morning, I got 23 missed calls. 2 from HR. 9 from Merrick. The rest from executives who had apparently just discovered how dependent their entire European operation was on a grieving man they treated like replaceable office equipment. I listened to one voicemail from Merrick. Rowan, call me immediately. The routing system's failing authentication. No apology. Still giving orders. Wild. I made coffee. Sat at the kitchen counter. Watched rain slide down the window. Then I called Nadia Corvin. Nadia had been senior legal counsel at Virion before leaving the company a year earlier because, according to her, executives confuse confidence with competence. She was also one of Ilara's closest friends. Nadia answered immediately. You okay? No, I said honestly. A pause. Good, she said softly. That means you're still human. I told her everything. The funeral call. The missed voicemails. The license. Silence on her end for a moment. Then, Rowan, did they seriously never fix the ownership structure? Nope. She actually laughed. Not cruelly. Just pure disbelief. Oh, this is gonna cost them a fortune. Turns out Asterion failing wasn't a simple software inconvenience. It handled dynamic freight rerouting across 6 countries. Without it, delays cascaded everywhere. Fuel costs jumped. Driver hours exceeded limits. Contracts triggered penalties. And the Hellbruck account, the one Merrick cared about so much, started hemorrhaging money within 48 hours. About 130,000 euros a day, as it turned out. Funny number to become famous for internally. Monday morning, I finally went back. Not to work. To resign. Virion's headquarters sat downtown in one of those glass buildings designed to look impressive and emotionally sterile at the same time. When I walked through the lobby, conversations shifted. Not dramatically. Just enough. People knew. Grief changes the air around you. I took the elevator to the 14th floor carrying a single envelope. Merrick spotted me immediately from across the operations bullpen. Guy looked terrible. Wrinkled shirt. Dark circles. Tight jaw. Stress had finally introduced itself to him personally. "Rowan," he said fast, walking toward me, "thank God. We need to restore access immediately. No condolences." Still. Impressive commitment to the bit. I looked at him for a second. Then past him. People were pretending not to watch. Classic office move. Everybody suddenly fascinated by spreadsheets. "I'm here to resign." His expression twitched. "What?" I handed him the envelope. He didn't take it right away. "You can't leave in the middle of this." "Apparently I can. Do you understand what's happening right now?" "Yes," I said calmly. "For the first time in years, I think you do too." That landed. His voice dropped lower. "If this is about compensation, we can discuss." "It's not about money." "Then what is it about?" And there it was. The real confusion. Because guys like Merrick assume everybody has a price. They genuinely can't process dignity as motivation. I looked him straight in the eye. "You told me my wife's funeral wasn't an excuse." Silence. Not movie silence. Office silence. The kind where printers still hum quietly in the background. Merrick shifted his posture slightly, like he was already rewriting history in his head. "That's being taken out of context." "No," I said. "It really isn't." HR appeared near the hallway then. A nervous woman named Celeste holding a tablet like it might protect her. "Merrick," she said carefully, "the board's waiting." His face tightened. Because now the problem was bigger than operations. Now it was visibility. Executives hate embarrassment more than failure. I started toward the elevator. Then he made the mistake. Again. "Rowan," he snapped louder, "you have responsibilities here." I stopped. Turned back slowly. "You know what's funny?" I said. "I believe that too. For a long time. Nobody moved. You trained me to think loyalty meant tolerating disrespect. Every late-night call. Every cancelled vacation. Every weekend emergency. I kept thinking eventually it would matter to someone." Merrick opened his mouth. I didn't let him speak. "But the second my wife died, you showed me exactly what this place values." The room stayed dead quiet. And suddenly Merrick looked smaller somehow. Not because I yelled. I didn't. Because everybody else had finally heard it out loud. I nodded once toward the envelope in his hand. "The license termination notice is on page 3. Legal details are attached." His face drained. "Termination? The system access expires midnight Friday. You can't do that." Nadia's voice came from behind us. "Oh, he absolutely can." She stepped out of the elevator carrying a leather folder and wearing the kind of expression attorneys get when they know somebody skipped contract review to attend a golf retreat. Merrick looked stunned. "Nadia. You should have read the licensing agreement," she said. Then, after a beat. "And maybe sent flowers." That one hurt him. You could tell. The board removed Merrick within 2 weeks. Officially, it was due to operational oversight and executive conduct concerns. Corporate language is fascinating. They'll describe a public disaster like they're apologizing for slightly overcooked chicken. Virion eventually negotiated a new licensing agreement with me. More expensive this time. Much more respectful too. But I never went back as an employee. I worked remotely as an external consultant for 6 months while they rebuilt infrastructure around people instead of personalities. Nadia said the whole incident became mandatory management training material internally. Which honestly made Alara laugh in my head. 3 months later, I finally cleaned out her closet. Took me 4 hours. Grief's weird like that. You can negotiate million-dollar contracts emotionally numb, then completely fall apart over a sweater. I found a note in one of her coat pockets. Probably shoved there months earlier. Her handwriting. Slanted slightly left. You were never invisible. They were just looking at the wrong things. I sat on the bedroom floor holding that note for a long time. Outside, rain tapped softly against the windows again. Same sound as the funeral day. Different man hearing it. And the strangest part? Losing the job barely mattered in the end. Because once somebody shows you exactly how little they value your humanity, staying stops being loyalty. It just becomes permission. And I was finally done giving it.